In April 2026, a Nigerian man named Amaramiro Emmanuel was beaten so badly, he later died from his injuries. Days earlier, another Nigerian, Ekpenyong Andrew, was arrested by Metro Police. His body was later found at the Pretoria Central Mortuary. Across South Africa, shops are being looted. School children are too afraid to attend class. Families are being told, sometimes by neighbors, sometimes by police, to go back to their countries. This is not the first time, and almost certainly it will not be the last. Today we ask why. The word xenophobia comes from two Greek words, xeno meaning stranger or foreigner, and phobos meaning fear. Together, xenophobia means the fear or hatred of people perceived as foreigners. It's very important to understand what xenophobia actually is, because people often confuse it with racism. Racism targets people based on their race or ethnicity. Xenophobia targets people based on their nationality or perceived foreigners, even if they share the same skin color, the same continent, sometimes even the same language as their attackers. That distinction matters here, because in South Africa today, the people being attacked are mostly entirely fellow black Africans, Nigerians, Zimbabweans, Mozambicans, Somalis, Ethiopians, Ghanaians. This is not a story about race, it's a story about who gets to belong. To understand the present, you have to understand how South Africa got here. For nearly 50 years, until 1994, South Africa lived under apartheid, a system of brutal racial segregation. When apartheid ended, much of Africa celebrated. South Africa was supposed to be the rainbow nation, the proof that the continent's wounds could heal. And economically, it boomed. By the end of the 1990s, South Africa had the largest economy on the continent. Migrants from across Africa came looking for work, some fleeing war, some fleeing poverty, some simply chasing opportunities. Today, official estimates put the foreign-born population in South Africa at somewhere between 2 and 4 million people, in a country of around 60 million. Because while the economy grew, inequality stayed. According to the World Bank, South Africa is the most unequal country on earth. Unemployment hovers around 32%, one of the highest rates anywhere. Among young South Africans, it's closer to 60%. When that many people feel locked out of their own economy, someone gets blamed. Historically, foreigners have always been an easy target. In 2008, a wave of xenophobic attacks killed at least 62 people and displaced over 100,000. In 2015, attacks centered in Durban left several dead. In 2019, violence and looting in Johannesburg pulled the Nigerian government into emergency evacuations of its citizens. And now, in 2026, it's happening again, when black South Africans tell other Africans to go back to their country. The current wave began intensifying in early 2026. Protests in Pretoria, Johannesburg, Durban, East London, and part of KwaZulu-Natal. A movement called Operation Dudula, the name means to push back in Zulu, has been at the forefront, so has the March movement, alongside other community-led groups. They describe themselves as anti-illegal immigration. Critics, including South Africa's own Human Rights Commission, say they target migrants regardless of their legal status. In one widely shared video, a Nigerian trader in his shop is told, "From now on, we don't want foreigners in this town. We are fixing South Africa now." According to recent reports, Operation Dudula has begun targeting schools, attempting to block foreign children, many of them born in South Africa, from attending. South African education authorities have condemned this, stating that all children have the right to schooling regardless of nationality. At least 2 Nigerians, Amaramiro Emmanuel and Ekpenyong Andrew, are confirmed dead. An Ethiopian man was also shot in what reports describe as a targeted killing in downtown Johannesburg. These are the names we know. There are likely others that we don't know. Researchers who study xenophobia in South Africa point to 3 forces that keep fueling it. The first is economic. When unemployment is sky high and inequality is the worst on earth, the question of who gets a job, a shop, a store becomes deeply personal. Migrants are blamed for taking jobs, even when economists consistently show migrants are net contributors to the economy. The second is political. South Africa has struggled for years with corruption. failing public services, blackout, and water shortages. When governments fail, scapegoats becomes useful. And the third is rhetoric. Politicians, talk show hosts, and online influencers have at various times described migrants as a source of crime, of disease, and of economic collapse. The data does not support these claims. The damage they cause is real. Most South Africans live peacefully alongside their African neighbors. The violence is driven by specific groups, amplified by specific voices, and tolerated by specific failures of policing. What makes this story especially painful is the geography of it. Across the continent, African countries have signed into the African Continental Free Trade Area, a project meant to enable Africans to move, trade, and build across borders. The dream of Pan-African unity is on paper. In practice, an Ethiopian man can be shot dead in Johannesburg. A Nigerian schoolchild can be too afraid to go to class in Pretoria. Because here's the thing about xenophobia, it doesn't end when the camera leaves. It just goes quiet until the next economic shock, the next political failure, the next viral video, then it comes back. If you enjoyed this video, like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye for now.